Hello, listeners! We're continuing our one-shot adventure, Blood Pact Requiem. Now, as Ryan mentioned at the top of the first episode, this arc features a really dark side of the Warhammer universe and includes some content that some listeners might find disturbing, such as enslavement, torture, and body horror. With that in mind, please take care when deciding whether or not to listen to this episode. And if you decide to skip this arc, we've got 2 other weekly podcasts that you can check out in the meantime, Blood and Syrup and Dum-Dums and Dragons. And we'll be back with Valentine's Crew in a few weeks. For those of you continuing with us now, please enjoy the continuation of Blood Pact Requiem. Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Prize, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is a special report on the repercussions of the events of Blood Pact Prison Break. Set in the Genesys Adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG, this report features Game Master Ryan LaPlante and players Tyler Hewitt, Laura Hamstra, and Del Borovic. After arming themselves with their favoured weapons, our trio set out across the ever-shifting plains of Everworld to search for the demon's heart, only to enter a gauntlet of the gods. They waded through servants of Nurgle over a fetid swamp, gave up secrets to pass through a confounding library of Tzeentch, and faced off with Daemonettes of Slaanesh. But will the servants of Khorne prove too deadly? Find out next, in this episode of the one-shot, Blood Pact Requiem.
The 3 of you stand in a molten, ashy, smoky world with hounds of Khorne howling in the distance, blood clouds hanging in the sky, and 3 blood letters charging towards you. You have entered the Blood Fiend's lair, and it's time for you to face off with the Guardians of Khorne, who some of you are sworn to and some of you are not, but Khorne doesn't really care. Everybody gets to die for Khorne. That's Khorne's deal. So they're charging towards you. Now, for this, we will do an initiative check for the first time, which is one of 2 different rolls. It's just a straight roll. Don't worry about difficulty. It's about the number of successes. Vigilance, if you were combat ready and ready to throw down, or cool, if you're just trusting your gut, you showed up like, just reaction speed, gut instinct for the 3 of you. We'll give Tyler a second to catch his breath.
Yep, sorry. Vigilance and cool?
Vigilance, for if you were kind of combat ready, that's the being ready to go around the corner, kick down a door, throw down, or cool if it's just your instinctual reaction that you're trusting.
Okay.
I have a special ability, that rapid reaction, that I may suffer 1 strain to add 1 success to a check to determine initiative order. I don't know if I need to do that before or after or what. Yeah.
You can just auto add that success if you want to pay that strain. Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Story points, you guys have 2. I have 3.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on a triumph and a success.
Shit. I got 1 success.
It's difficulty 0?
Yeah, this is just to see.
I got 4 successes and 1 triumph.
Oh my god, you bastards.
How many dice did Jesus? Anyways.
So there are 3 blood letters sprinting towards you. To paint the picture, they are about 6.5 to 7 feet tall. They are approximately human-shaped, though they are incredibly muscular and do not have skin. You are looking at exposed veins and muscle. They're covered in a sheet of blood. They're wearing brass armor in a more traditional medieval style, mainly over their torso. They have massive horns growing off the tops of their heads, asymmetrical, terrifying, fangs, glowing red eyes, cloven hooves as they sprint forwards with whipping tails behind them. And they're carrying massive swords of Khorne carved out of brass. They are brutal, jagged-edged, asymmetrical blades that come out into different spikes and points that can be used to hook enemies' weapons, pull them away, also just tear flesh and make as gory an opening as possible if they are thrust through a person. They are sprinting at you at high speed. First up will be Azraul, because holy shit, that roll. Azraul was very ready for Khorne to come join the party. Next, just slightly slower than Azraul for Karl. Then we will have a blood letter, which is, we will say, has an eyebrow ring of brass so that I can just track these three different. Eyebrow ring, one of them will have a scar. That means they only have one eye. And the third has no tail. It's been hacked off. So no tail on the third one. Eyebrow ring will be facing off with Azraul. The one-eyed scar will be heading towards Karl. And no tail will be heading towards Flynch.
Okay.
So basically it'll go Azraul, Karl, no tail, then we'll be over to Flynch, then the rest of the bloodletters, because they didn't roll too good. They're not actually that vigilant. They're just extremely violent, is their skill set. Azraul, you're getting charged by a bloodletter, and so are your two wards on your way to pass these tests of the gods. What do you do?
Yeah, Azraul's got to stay straight and true, even though the environment has changed because of what Karl did. But Azraul will pull forth his staff two-handed and swing down to hit the bloodletter in front of him. And as he takes a couple big, heavy strides forward into that fray.
Amazing. So you're just moving right towards the enemy that's moving towards you.
Yes.
Your difficulty, so this will be a melee light or heavy. I think you got a two-handed weapon,
have
right?
heavy, yep.
So you're melee heavy. The difficulty for this will be 3. That is upgraded because bloodletters are nasty combatants. And they have a melee defense of 2. So you'll have 2 setback dice added to that because, super nasty. Also, bloodletters are automatically frenzied at all times. So they are ultimately very dangerous coming at you, but also not necessarily the best at defending themselves. So you will have 1 automatic success added to this die roll.
Great.
It might be tactically useful for them to turn that frenzy off. They're bloodletters. That's not an option.
All right. Let me double check my rule. First time doing this with this character, that's for sure. Okay. And it says, as an incidental, because this is a psychic staff, I can suffer 2 strain and increase the damage as Azrael's using his psychic energy to channel through the staff.
That's great. Do you need to do that before you roll the attack, or is it non-specific?
It's non-specific, but I figured I'd flag it because I'm planning to use it.
I would say that'll be something you could do if you actually hit.
If it hits.
I don't think you have to keep the staff charge to just swing around in the air, because that strikes me very much as you have to stab it into somebody and then fry. So don't worry about just burning all your strain throwing psychic powers into the air.
Oh, boy,
All right.
strain train.
That's right. I'm ready. All right. I'm on a roll. Oh, well, thank God for that 1 automatic success, because all I rolled was 1 threat, which means 1 success, 1 threat.
Holy shit.
1 success, 1 threat. Okay, I'm going to carry that threat over and give advantage to your opponent, who is Eyebrow Ring. They will get an automatic advantage on their next roll. But you made it through. So what is your damage total, including your extra psychic damage? What does this look like? I know what the Imperial version of Force weapons look like. Mm-hmm. This is nastier and eviler.
Yes. So the staff just comes down. It looks like a big staff, but it has bones and skulls on top of it. So what happens is that the skulls start rattling and the mouths open, and purplish, bluish smoke comes from the mouths and the eyes of the skulls and wraps down around the staff and around what it hits. So, let's see here. So the damage is 7 plus 1 is the base damage, and the additional damage from the psychic attack is 8. So, 16.
16. Okay. You do a solid blow to your bloodletter opponent, but they are still standing. You can see them stagger from the magic as much as anything else that cuts through. What's your pierce on that? Is there any pierce?
There is
or
no
sunder
pierce.
Or whatever they give weird force weapons.
That's it. It has its defensive disorient and 4 crit, but I didn't trigger anything, so none
Fair
of those
enough.
come
Okay.
through.
Yep. So your enemy combatant is still standing, but you do manage to tear his left arm off as he came forward. So just that roar of abject hatred as the bloodletter loses an arm, but that sword is still gripped in an absolutely psychotic hand.
Yep.
So that continues. Karl, what do you do as a bloodletter charges at you and another one at Flynch and another one at Azraul?
I charge to meet him. Yeah,
Great.
I run straight up on that fool.
I'm going to take a wild guess that you're going to attack.
Yeah, with my Astartes chainsword.
Great. So difficulty will be 3, and you will have 2 setback. You also get 1 automatic success because Frenzy, it's just a monster running at you. There's not much strategy to bloodletters.
Right.
You are slightly taller than the bloodletter.
With an additional success, that is 1 triumph, 3 successes, 1 advantage.
Wow.
Wah, wah, wee, wah. Okay.
Get in there, Karl.
This means we get to roll on the amazing crit table of justice, or chaos, as this case may be. I need you to roll me a D100, Karl.
Okay. That's a 14.
And then what is your vicious score on your Astartes Chainsword? Because I remember that being excessive.
It is 5.
5, so 14 becomes... you will do an agonizing wound to this bloodletter. You score across its chest, just ripping out and disemboweling it. So it is spattering blood onto the ground that hisses as it hits the magma between the different plates. And its entrails are hanging out. Its entrails have become its extrails. It is screeching, and what that means is it will lose 1 die from all of its brawn and agility checks moving forwards in this combat.
It's been too long, you know?
And then what is your damage as we add up this excessive number?
So this weapon has Pierce 2.
Great.
The damage is +5.
+5. And what did you roll?
That was 3 successes and a triumph.
3 successes plus a triumph, which will count as 2. So that's 5 plus the additional damage of 5 plus your bronze score, which is what?
Oh, God. My bronze score is 5.
Great. So your base damage on this is actually 10.
Okay.
And you do 5 on top of that, so it's up to 15 with the soak. My brain doing math. Yeah, you have heartily wounded this grotesque friend who is close to what you would think of as perhaps half health if you were to look at it statistically, but a solid blow, but have not finished it off. However, with its entrails having to be held in as it's fighting, it is at a disadvantage to keep coming at you. You feel like you've added a new scar to this demon, if nothing else. All right. And then this bloodletter, the last one with no tail, just sprinting towards Flynch, dodging back and forth as it comes, maybe a little craftier than the other ones. It is going to attack. So what is your melee defense, Flynch?
Oh, no, it is 2.
2, okay. It is in a blood frenzy, which means I can auto-add things. And I am also looking at its score. Turns out, very good at melee.
Oof.
The difficulty is automatically 2. Okay, here we go. It's coming in, lashing out with its hooked, deadly blade of Khorne. Flynch. This blade rips in and cuts through your armor, dealing you a total of 11 damage. No, 14 damage. Sorry, is what comes in.
Oh.
Right.
Do I take the soak away from that?
Your soak will be subtracted from that, but it also has a pierce of 1. So your soak -1 will be
soak
subtracted from
-1. Okay. Oh, no. So that means I take 8 damage. Oh,
Correct.
dear. Oh, dear.
So it is a nasty blow that slices across your chest and then down through your hip, digging deeper as it goes, which is why it didn't prove fatal, but you've just got a deep slice across your body. You are bleeding heartily, but you're engaged in combat. And again, that would probably take Laura out of the equation completely, but Flynch, you have been a weird torture creature for several years of warp exposure, so you're kind of doing your own thing now. Flynch, it is your turn to act.
Well, I guess this is a good opportunity to just use my power knife. because fuck this person. I hate
This
it.
tailless monstrosity howling at you with all the rage of 1,000 deaths.
It's like as like Flynch gets hit and then kind of stumbles backwards, but like is just able to kind of plant one foot and slash across.
Nice.
Great. That sounds good to me. Difficulty will be 3. You will automatically have 1 success. That's built into what you're doing. The setback dice, you have 2. It'll be 2 black dice on this one. I'm going to spend a story point because you've been injured, so upgrade one of those 3 purples to a red.
Okay. What's the setback due to?
Setback is due to the armor of the beast in front of you. The copper armor and its overall demonic aura.
Well, I can't take any of those out. Okay, so let me make a melee light attack. Oh dear. This is not looking that great so far.
Azraul, you seem to be you're uninjured, and so's Karl. If both of you want to roll me a difficulty 3 perception.
Want me to still roll in the meantime?
Yes, you're still doing what you're doing. This is just in case they pick up on something while they see it, because they're currently the opening rounds of their fights are going in their way, so they may spot something that I think you're too caught up to do. You have a very sad face. Flynch, what's up?
I got 2 failures.
2 failures. Flynch, you just slash out with the power knife, and the bloodletter just jumps back. You're realizing it's got a lot of fury, but you seem to have met your match here. The other 2 are clearly much more tooled up for close combat than you are.
I don't like it. And neither does Flynch.
That's valid. The other 2, you are facing off with bloodletters. So we will resolve. Let's check on your perception.
Check?
Yeah, just so I can see those.
I got a wash, so nothing.
Doesn't see nothing.
I got 3 successes, 1 advantage.
Azraul, you can spot that the blade being carried by the bloodletter that attacked Flynch has grown slightly longer and slightly sharper. You're realizing that every time you're wounded with one of these blades, the blade itself becomes more dangerous, which is very attuned to Khorne's general magic. What's your melee defense, Azraul?
1.
1. All right. Difficulty is 2. The bloodletter, despite taking a heinous injury and losing an arm, just spits a torrent of blood in your eyes and comes in swinging with the sword, hoping it'll be able to distract you. 2, 3, 5. Fuck me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes, which is a large amount of successes, which is actually 8 when we factor in the frenzy. And let me check this sword stat, and I think it's not great for you.
No, doesn't sound great.
And it gets a crit. So, okay, just a second. I got to roll on the crit chart. We're going to find out what happens to you, Azraul.
Azraul's very bad day.
Well, while we're
going
waiting
fine.
for this, I need to put out a plea to listeners that if you find a good online Genesys dice roller, please let us know. The one we used is no more.
Savagery. Now we
We
must
missed those
count
auto
ourselves.
successes, and yeah, it was just so beautiful and elegant. I miss it so much. What happened? What happened, buddy who ran that website? What happened?
Miss you, sir. We miss you.
Where'd you go? Please come back.
Oh, man. All right, Azraul. The bloodletter lashes out with an equal intent and cripples you. So your left arm, matching the bloodletter's left arm, is severed from your body. You are still holding onto your weapon, but that's been lost. So all difficulty checks that would have involved that arm will be more difficult. This will not affect your actual combat stats because I think you're a bad motherfucker who can swing this thing around one-armed or two-armed. You're a champion of the warp. We're not here to fuck around. You will take a total of, it will be 18 damage from this sword with Pierce 1.
All right. I am somehow still alive because my soak is very high. I am still standing with 4 damage. 4
Do you say
HP
anything
left.
in response to this demon that you have battered and at the same time been battered by?
Yeah, I think Azraul would lean forward and keep stepping closer, because even though his arm is hacked off and this obviously the sword must also be growing, he would step closer and you can have plenty of blood at the end of our journey. Get out of our way. We have places to be.
And the demon just yells, "Blood for the blood god!" and just comes in swinging again.
Yep.
So the combat continues between the two of you. Karl, what is your melee defense currently?
2.
2. Okay. Your bloodletter comes in swinging after having been smoked, holding its guts with one hand, which I remember because I have to remove a die to do that. There we go. See, I'm getting better at this.
Yay.
And it comes in and strikes a blow as well. You are a large being with a lot of flesh that you are not necessarily used to parrying in the same way you would have been able to when you were a smaller, nastier version of yourself. So
sure.
you will take 14 damage with a pierce of 1.
Okay. So 1 goes through for sure. So then I take 7 off. So 8?
Yep, it'll be 8 off. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And you are just run through. This would be a blow that would have killed the previous version of yourself, Karl, but the sword goes in, knife goes in, guts come out. You are still, however, a giant behemoth ready to throw down.
Okay. There's no critical on me or anything?
There is no critical.
Okay. That does trigger my bloodlust, though, which, I mean, I feel like it was a given that we weren't going to let each other walk away from this, but that does allow me to ignore melee defense once per fight now because I'm all revved up. So
Yep. And I believe you have acid blood.
that is as a result of critical injuries. So I also wanted to check for
Nah, this is enough that will allow acid blood to be a factor. I think it's weird that it's only critical injuries. That should be something that'll just affect all your stuff. So what's the deal with acid blood?
everyone in melee range takes 7 damage.
We will just bounce that. We will bounce that over to the demon. You guys are far enough apart that you're not just
Okay.
killing the whole team.
Nice. Thank you.
everyone's in their
Well,
own.
we'd be like,
It's like, bye.
goodbye.
Now everyone's fighting their own battles. I'm going to say that goes around the general armor of the I'm protecting my torso with brass. I think getting sprayed with acid head to toe gets through a fair amount of that. There is still some demonic resistance which will exist, but it is now just eating through this bloodletter that is wheezing, holding its own intestines. It's just the bloodletter is not having a good day. You're not having a great one either, but that bloodletter is having an exceedingly bad day.
I think Karl is feeling a combat high through the bloodlust.
Oh, definitely.
I think he's just fervently devoted to Khorne. I think he's saying like, yes, test me, brother. These trials have forged a new body for Khorne. Test me.
Amazing. And you just, Azraul and Flynch, you both see your bloodletters turn and look at Karl as someone who has challenged the blood god. But Azraul, you get to act first.
All right. Azraul is just take another step forward and gonna hit this bloodletter again, or try to. And because he's now missing one arm, it's even wilder swings, like going further down the haft and then torquing his whole upper body. And there's the bones and chains flying, and just using his entire upper torso to land a hit or attempt to. Wild
Great.
swings.
I love it.
All right.
Difficulty will be 3. There are 2 setback dice for the armor and general combat abilities of the bloodletter, but you have 1 automatic success added to your pile because
That's right.
still frenzied.
All right. I think I will like to take a story point here because, man, if I don't do this, this is might be curtains here. So,
Alrighty, go for it.
okay. Double checking. Okay. Oof, we got 1 success, 1 advantage, which means 2 success, 1 advantage.
2 success, 1 advantage.
And
which will be a grand total of what damage with your also psyker-powered, spooky Khorne and Tzeentch fueled smoke weapon?
God.
17 damage.
17 damage. How do you kill this bloodletter?
Oh man, it's a wild swing, I think, from the bottom, and the power swirls around the bloodletter's head and explodes its head. And Azraul keeps walking forward, and the body leans up against his, and blood gushes all over his face. And then he just takes another step forward and lets that body slump down beside him.
Amazing. All right, Karl.
We're taking another swing with the chainsword. I mean, we got to.
Great. Difficulty 3, 2 setback dice, 1 automatic success as you are dueling it out. Yeah, this isn't even one back and forth. This is fucking an ugly, ugly pit fight between 2 champions of Khorne.
We're just tearing chunks out of each other. I will be ignoring 2 defense with my bloodlust on this one.
Fabulous. Because you are in the realm of Khorne and you have declared yourself as a Khornate champion, I would also allow you to make yourself frenzied if you wanted to like fuel yourself with the violence here. So what that does is it means on an attack, you automatically add 1 success and 2 advantage. But on anyone attacking you, they automatically add 1 success.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about it as like a tactical decision, but that's not how a frenzy works. So no, I think it just I think it washes over him, and yeah, he goes.
I would say
he leans
Karl
into it.
has enough of a mind still to be able to decide to fall into kind of the Khornate madness or not. So he is a tactical character who is like a training officer in the Blood Pact. So if you think smart Karl would be like, no, me no want, that is allowed.
I think he feels like he's doing well enough that this is that he is being appropriately tested, and he wants to. He has something to prove, yeah. So he's going to try and stay as in control as possible.
Okay, so you won't frenzy, but you'll just make your regular attack, which is still good, and you get a bonus success just because the bloodletter's frenzied.
Yeah. Cool. So 3 difficulty. Okay, so doing my thing of that. Yeah, I'll use a story point as well.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, I have declared myself a proud champion of Khorne. I never faltered. Okay. Rolling. That's 1 more success than last time. So 1 triumph and 4 successes.
Wow.
How does this bloodletter die?
Holy shit.
It's just blood for the blood god, and the sword comes up. It's screaming with the chainsword, comes down. The demon raises his one. No, he's got both hands. He abandons his gaping stomach wound to use 2 hands to fend off my attack. But the chainsword eats through his blade, eats through his horn, and then into his head, and just splatters blood everywhere. He just leaves it in the body and revving it so that the chainsaw just sprays more and more blood out.
All righty.
Yay.
Yeah. Flynch, your opponent, having heard the challenge, turns to charge at Karl, who has challenged Khorne's champions directly. You do have a chance to raise a weapon and perhaps take a parting shot as this bloodletter dashes from one fight to another.
Yeah.
So is that what Flynch says?
You imagine? No. No, Flynch is like, well, like all like, like, and just ready. Flynch was ready to go for the Inferno pistol anyways, just because I think for her it's a more reliable weapon. She's used to it. It's just like a beautiful, powerful, can't miss weapon. So she's gonna. I want to say it's like, I imagine it's like in like a massive holster, but that's like ridiculous. Anyways, she lifts it up from where it's hanging on her.
I I think it could be in like, I think if you're picturing it, it could be a holster that wraps around the pistol, but is open at the bottom, so it hangs, but you can raise it with the holster still wrapped around it to fire.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's
Beautiful.
good.
Well, then take your shot. Difficulty will be 3.
Okay.
Your setback will be 1.
Okay.
That's all I have for you.
Okie dokie. I'll use a story point there. What are we at?
That gives me all of them.
Oh. I don't want you to have all of them. I take it back. I don't want it.
Would you take that back or like, I understand, would Flynch not consider this a significant moment, or does it feel like character spend? It's easy to trade these back and forth. That's what you want to do.
Flynch got really hurt. You're right. Yeah, Flynch, yeah.
Flynch isn't quite faithful enough to be able to feel the sway of the powers in the warp and fate around this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flynch is tattooed to the bones by an atheist.
All right, I'm rolling. Oh man, glad I took that. 1 success.
Ooh.
1 success. We know that this has breach, but it also has destructive, which normally means it can add 10 per success against vehicles. So what we will say is that it will add 3 per success against anything individual. It's a smaller target. You're not shooting a hole in a wall. It's really easy to do that. You're hitting a moving target with kind of like a flow of terrifying plasma. But what that means is you will be doing a base of 13 or 14 is the base damage.
It's base damage just 13.
13 jumps up to 16, plus you've got Pierce, plus you've got all of that. You burn just a massive hole down the spine of this bloodletter as it dashes towards Karl. Azraul, you've dispatched your foe, and it is running past you, so you also have a chance to take a swing before this thing gets to Karl.
Oh, nice.
I'm adding the equivalent of a D&D attack of opportunity here, as it is frenzied as shit. Oh, wait. It's very fucked. I forgot that you would have your automatic success for shooting at it, Flynch, so it's just more fucked up. I'll make note of that. Azraul.
That's true. All right. Azraul's just turning in place, swinging at it as it comes by, then. I'll just try and hit it.
Great. Difficulty 3, 2 setback.
2 setback. And
1 automatic success.
Yes. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Where was this, Azraul? I got... So with the automatic success, that would be 3 successes, 2 threat, and a triumph.
Holy shit. Yep. How do you kill it, Azraul? I'm going to tell you, due to the way the warp is suggesting it to you, you leave its torso alone. But otherwise, how do you kill it?
All right. I think then it's he swings in a circle, and it's just a low swing, and not even using the psychic energy, but taking its legs out so that as it's running towards Karl, it falls on Karl, and Karl's acid and all of his spikes, and it just falls on him.
So this, in slow motion, we watch Karl slaughter his opponent by jamming a chainsword through their brain. Then a bloodletter turns from Flynch and runs forwards, is shot in the back with an Inferno pistol while being brutally tripped and its shins shattered by your force weapon, and then dies on the blood and body blades of Karl. You stand, you look around, no more champions appear out of the dust. But as you look down at the bodies, you can see that their chests are glowing. And you can see the hearts at the center of each of these bloodletter bodies are glowing, visible through their torsos. What do you do?
Azraul's going to go towards the one that's on Karl and stick his... I guess he's gotta put his staff in his crook of his arm and use his one good arm to try and stick his hand in to grab the heart.
You'll succeed. It's a corpse.
Yeah. Perhaps the changing of this place was meant to be for us to receive these. And he's going to pull it out and turn it around and hand it to Flynch, because that was Flynch's bloodletter.
Flynch, Azraul is offering you a severed demon heart that is still beating and glowing with like red, hateful magic.
Is this the heart?
Yes. He's gonna drop it into Flynch's hand and then hobble over to the one that he killed and get the heart out of that one.
Flynch is just kind of standing there with like both hands kind of outstretched, like held together with the heart in it, not quite knowing what to do with it.
Flynch, can you roll me? I would accept a streetwise if you're trying to math out what you think this would be, because I don't think you have a ton of forbidden knowledge.
Yeah.
However, it also has been a while, and you eat flesh and bodies.
Yes.
So this could also just be a straight willpower to resist eating it because you instinctually want to.
Yeah.
You also can just do whatever you want. I'm just trying to help you if you're trying to math out what to do. If you're like, I eat it, I'm not going to argue with you. You don't have to roll for that.
I think streetwise, but that'll kind of go into it because, like, depending on what the answer is, Flynch might decide to eat it.
Yep. Streetwise, I would say difficulty 3.
Okay.
Karl, what are you doing right now?
Azraul has been our guide through all of this, so seeing Azraul, hearing him make his remarks, Karl would, with no problem, turn to his fallen opponent, wrench the breastplate off, and reach in and yank out the heart.
Great. Azraul, you've hauled out a heart. You were the most decisive. So what do you do with your heart once you've removed it?
Azraul would first plant himself back in the place where he was walking. That's just number one importance to him. And yeah, since this isn't the heart on a pedestal.
If you're walking back, then Flynch will get the first reaction. So Flynch, what did you end up rolling?
2 failures, baby.
2 failures. Flynch, you don't know what the fuck you're supposed to do with it, and it looks disgusting.
Like disgusting good or disgusting bad?
Disgusting good.
Not disgusting good. You've looked at other gore before. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to eat people. You have no fucking clue what'll happen if you try to eat something that's directly from the warp. You do not know what the cost will be. And I'd say you also are vaguely nervous because you've kind of made a lot of promises to a lot of people, and how does Khorne feel about you? You're not sure.
Flynch continues to carry the heart in her open, outstretched hands in front of her.
Great. Flynch has got a processional. Now, Azraul, you've returned. You're back in the original place. What do you do?
I feel like Azraul wants to just reach out to the warp again, because it's a question of, is this something for us, or is this something to give as a sacrifice moving forward to our next location? I think that's the question, because this is a slight deviation from where we were supposed to be in his eyes.
All right, so Azraul's focusing, which is good. So if you want to roll me one of your psychic checks, that'd be great. Right. But Flynch is still holding a heart. Azraul is praying to the gods. Karl, you have a beating heart in your hands, having just declared yourself the champion of Khorne. What do you do?
I'm going to eat it.
All right, Karl's going for a snack, which I like. So while this is happening, Karl, you bite down and just feel rage. You are eating an emotion. You can sense that this is a lesser demon, but definitely fueled by betrayal and a knife in the back on the battlefield. So every time someone has turned on a brother with a blade in terms of combat, specifically a knife, that is the energy that has fueled this specific demon. And you feel that hatred suffuse your body. And red magic swirls around you. Your wounds remain open. Your wounds remain bleeding, but your wound threshold is fully healed.
Okay.
You don't know if this healing will be forever, or if Khorne is just souping you up in the sense of you will be stronger to destroy yourself should you throw yourself into combat too heavily. But you are strong once again. You are the champion you have been meant to be. Okay. Azraul, what'd you roll?
Azraul feels a little better. Azraul rolled 3 successes, 1 advantage.
Azraul, this is both.
Okay.
This is something that will push you forwards on your quest, but it's also something for you that has been earned.
Great. All right. Then Azraul will pick up his severed arm and belt it onto his hip and then eat the heart.
Great. Azraul, you eat the heart. You feel yourself suffused with just an absolute brutal energy. Mm-hmm. And it's also tinged with a certain amount of violence and a certain amount of despair in equal measure. Just the final blow of someone who is destroying themselves while they take the swing. This was a demon of murder suicides, and that energy fuels through you, and you feel yourself and your energy and your overall injuries pick up and heal themselves, and you are back to your full wound threshold.
All right.
Flynch, you see them both suffused with red energy, but remaining unharmed and seemingly invigorated. What do you do?
I think that it's very clear to Flynch that she can eat the heart now. She don't need no successes to determine that. So,
Flynch, you chow down and you feel yourself filled and poured through with terror and with violence. Just a lashing out, and you realize that you are all the energy of prisoners being bloodily executed and beheaded on the way to the block. So you are all of that fear and then the bloodshed that comes immediately after it, and your wound threshold also rises to full.
shit.
Then you all feel terrible pain in your temples. And you feel your flesh split and tear, and you feel flames burning within your eyes. And as you look at each other, you realize that you are all growing horns. New, cornate, spiked horns out of your scalps. And each of you now has one eye that glows red in the style of a bloodletter. It seems to be over until, Azraul, you cry out and fall to the ground, and you feel a terrible writhing and wriggling pain within your lost arm. And then in a welter of blood, more blood than exists within your body that sprays outwards, you grow a new arm, only it is skinless and red. And when you look down at the body of the bloodletter that you killed, it now only has one arm. So you look down at this strong, recovered arm with black clawed fingernails and realize that you have been named as the champions and replacements for these bloodletters. And then the world around you shifts. This one is not soft. This isn't a wave of blood. You are all drenched head to toe, almost drowning in the coppery, salty taste, smell, wash of blood, until you appear at the base of a ziggurat. Several stories high, with crudely hewn stone stairs leading up to the top, surrounded by depths of a jungle that seems neutral in its tone. You're not seeing the Garden of the Grandfather. There's no sense of plague, but it's not without it. You're not seeing the Tizkin Towers of Knowledge, but there is the sense of a malicious and observing presence. You're not seeing Daemonettes or any of the various musks or sopophorics that you have experienced before, but there is beauty. And you're not seeing a whole lot of bloodshed, but you are all covered in blood, having arrived on a wave of blood. This is not a gentle place. However, you sense a broad energy, and you can all see it, just a pillar of light pouring up in a twisted, unholy sense that would be very comfortable for all three of you. For Flynch and Karl, it feels a bit like home at the top of the ziggurat. Clearly, that's your destination. I'm imagining you climb, but I don't know if you'd say anything to each other here as you feel that you're closing in on the end of your journey, or what you would do.
Yeah, Azraul would turn around and look to everybody with the horns. He can't wear his hood anymore, so you can see more of his actual face, and he has like bald on top and then long silver hair that's pulled back with bones and everything, and you can see his discolored skin, and has manic, happy grin on his face. Oh, the gifts we have been given to bring us to this place. The gods wish us to succeed. Let us move on, friends.
Yes. Even I can see that these are auspicious forms we have taken on. Yes.
Flynch, you're also there. I don't know if you say anything, but
Face
present.
Laura is making right now.
Man. This is weird.
What is Flynch thinking if Flynch doesn't say anything?
I was going to say, was that a line from Flynch? Just like, this is weird.
Weird, you're weird.
No, it's just like I've just been thinking like it's just weird to eat like the heart of like a demon of Khorne when like Flynch used to be all about that blood life, you know? And yet this whole thing is in service to Throck. Flynch is just a little quiet.
Flynch is having trouble with the metaphysical ramifications of being powered by Khorne but in service to an atheist.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's reasonable. All your bones hurt. And the three of you begin climbing the ziggurat. It takes you a random amount of time, and I say random because you can't tell. Sometimes it feels like you are climbing for minutes, sometimes for hours, sometimes it feels like you've been traveling for weeks or months, just starving as you continue. You can all feel various different shades of weather hitting you. Frozen winter, the calm of spring, the growth of summer. But all of this is happening at an accelerated pace. And it's impossible for you to tell what's real, what isn't, other than you have this climb that has to be made. And finally, you reach the pinnacle. And you are looking at an impossibly vast square. And at the center of it is an altar that has been raised up. You're at cloud height, so you can see the clouds around you with lightning spiking through them. But the lightning seems almost to be rainbow colored. There are clear references to all four gods. This is not a defined space owned by one of them. This is just arcing around you. And in this altar at the center, from the unholy light springing up from it, you can see a beating heart. The size of 5 or 6 fists put together. This is much larger than a mortal heart, clearly sized for an Astartes frame. And it is beating as it hangs in the air in the center of the light, at the center of this space, some distance from you. What do you do?
Karl would begin to walk thinking we've arrived. Like Karl would assume that Azraul's role as our guide has been fulfilled. Karl would walk forward and reach out to grab this heart.
Azraul is watching as this happens, but watching because we aren't supposed to be the only people here. So Azraul is watching out for the other people who are supposed to be here.
Great. Azraul, can you roll me a perception?
Sure.
Difficulty 4. And I'm going to spend a story point. And I'm going to spend a second story point for a reason I'm not going to tell you.
To upgrade it again?
Nope. One upgrade for you, one upgrade for the world.
Oh, very nice. All right. I'm double checking.
GMs are allowed to spend story points to introduce things to scenes that would not have been there previously.
Oh.
Well, can I have a story point?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I'm going to take one too. I would like one also. Azrael's trying to tune into these warp senses. Yeah, the world gets one. All right, here we go. Oh. Wait, show me what a despair looks like.
X with a circle around it.
Guess what I rolled? 3 successes, 1 triumph, 1 despair. Hey!
Fuck. I thought you were going to say 3 despairs. I was like, oh, God. Your eyes fall out of your head.
Azraul, you are reaching out around you with your warp senses, trying to figure out what the trap is of this scenario. You know the gods have laid things out before you, and it is very rare that they just gift you something at the end of the journey. And that's when you hear just the subtlest of the screeching sounds of just a whirring mechanical screech coming from the distance through the clouds. And you realize that the lightning is striking this source over and over again because it's not walking the path that was intended to get here. You realize it's big, it's very fast, you're not going to have time to stop it, and it is heading for Karl. What do you do?
Karl, attack! That's the only thing that comes to Azraul.
Karl, Azraul has just yelled attack. You have a heartbeat to react and you can't see anything. What do you do?
rev the chainsword and just draw it in a horizontal arc as I do a 180 for whatever's behind me. Is Karl's assumption. Something has snuck up on me. Just spin around to cut whatever's behind him.
That is a clever idea, Karl. I would like you to roll an attack. This one is going to be... Oh, dear God. Let me figure this out. This one is going to be difficulty 5. 2 setback.
2 setback. I
am going to spend a story point to make one of those purples a red.
Okay.
I'm sweating.
What else do I got going on? Not much. Okay. Pretty straightforward when it comes to melee attacks, so... All right, I'm going to roll.
Great.
Ooh, not good. 1 failure, 3 threat.
Oh, no.
We tried.
2 of my yellows came up blank. I was betrayed.
Shit, that sucks.
Come on, Khorne.
Yeah.
Out of the darkness.
Can't hear you.
There is a massive form of purple and white marble ceramite just spinning out of the clouds. And your desperate assault, Karl, on the air around you misses by moments until a massive form hammers into your body and hurls you back across the dais towards where your friends are resting. And all 3 of you are looking upon Sindrian, the son of perfection, who with a creak manages to rise, not moving as quickly as you've seen previously, not as invincibly as you'd seen previously, and with a groan that's audible over the vox emitters of Sindrian's helm, which he reaches up, detaches, and throws aside. And you stare upon the most beautiful face you've ever seen. We're talking David Bowie meets your favorite supermodel, but each of you individually as players, and then your favorite model of any gender, and then like pick a whole 3, add them together, and then add in, you know, a Mr. Olympia level of muscle on the body on top of that. The armor itself is power armor, but it has almost been tailored to match Sindrian's form. Lean, very muscular, Adonis-like, built around the muscles that you all instinctively know match it underneath. Sindrian has a sparking jetpack built onto the back of the Emperor's children's armor with beautiful white wings attached to the sides to make Sindrian appear almost as an angel. And in each of Sindrian's hands end in lightning claws, the very balance of Throx. Only Sindrian coughs and blood leaks from Sindrian's mouth, pouring down the stains on Sindrian's face already that you had assumed were war paint and now realize are coughed up blood and other injurious elements from inside Sindrian's own helm. Karl, you can't. You got your ass kicked. Damage will be neutral because you have a big spooky body, but you're back where you started. Mm-hmm. Can Azraul and Flynch, can you both roll me perceptions, difficulty 3?
I got 1 success, 1 advantage.
Flynch?
1 advantage, 1 failure.
Flynch, you do not know what is going on, how this is possible. You're just in absolute awe and equal parts terror of Sindrian, the son of perfection. Azraul, what you realize as Sindrian stands is Sindrian's chest plate is sundered. And not just with the stabbing wounds that you would expect, knowing that Throck had done injury to both of Sindrian's central hearts. There is actually a large gap that is open to the air, as though the center of the chest plate had been broken open and hauled out. When you look inside it, you see that there are beating hearts that you can sense with your warp senses, but they are not Astartes hearts, which is why Sindrian is not as functional as the rest of the Space Marines. And Sindrian looks at the 3 of you and just says, Throck trusted his little pathetic menials. He must believe in you far more than mine earned my trust. And Azraul, you realize that Sindrian removed the hearts from Sindrian's crew and built them into Sindrian's own chest. So Sindrian is functioning at a mortal level of heart power within an Astartes body, enough to get here, but not enough to stay fully capable of marine combat. What do the three of you do? Sindrian is between you and the heart.
I mean, if either of you two want to say something, that's fine, but I know what Karl's going to do.
Yeah, I know what Azraul's going to do. Is Flynch going to do anything?
Flynch is raising her Inferno pistol.
Okay, so yes, we're all on the same page then. Yeah.
So Azraul, I guess probably right in front of Flynch, Azraul is going to take a knee and holding his staff, wants to entreat the gods and channel his divine future sight into Karl and use that to try and power Karl and give Karl some words. I don't know if it'll work, but Azraul just tell Karl, like, Karl Etogaur, strike at the heart of the enemy of your god.
Beautiful. Can you roll me a psychic check? Your normal difficulty is what, 2 for these?
Correct.
I'm going to make this one 3. One of them's got to be red because we're
Yeah,
Calvin
they're
balling
always
a little
red.
bit.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
That is good. So this is a check that will be designed for... Oh, shit. Okay, you'll have one setback that is unavoidable because Karl is fueled by Khorne and you are trying to use Psyker magic to affect a Khornate champion. So that is an innate conflict of interest because Khorne hates magic. But I'm only adding 1 because you're also kind of fueled by Khorne a little bit right now, and it's a little messy with all the gods present. So just one
This is
setback
true.
that you would have outside of the normal there.
God party up in here. Okay, anything else?
That feels good to me because this is, a whole conversation that happens in an instant.
Yep. And I feel like that's clean. It's gonna be a tough one just because of, and it didn't work last time that Azraul tried to use it on Karl, but that's in a pinch. We'll see. Oh, 3 successes.
3 successes. Karl, you feel yourself fueled by not only the knowledge of Azraul to tell you to strike at the beast's heart, but also the energy and speed of Azraul. So in this round of combat, you will be able to do 2 attacks. Azraul's knelt down and just traded his power over to you, so you've become twice as deadly in this form of conflict. However, you clearly want to charge, whereas Flynch doesn't have that same need to get quite as close. So, Flynch, what up?
The only thing Flynch is thinking of is like, Flynch doesn't quite know what she wants to happen, but she knows she doesn't want, like, nothing good can come of Sindrian getting this heart. So, attempt a boom boom bye.
Alrighty, let's take your shot, Flynch.
All right. What's my difficulty going to be?
The difficulty on this would normally be 5 because it is Space Marine, but this is a Space Marine that is functioned with human hearts, so Sindrian's ability to flawlessly sprint out of the way is severely limited. So the difficulty would be 3.
Okay.
Unless you want to run up into engagement range with Sindrian, and then it'll drop to 1.
It's a
Would Flynch charge a
short-range
Chaos
weapon.
Space Marine?
No.
Then you're good. Difficulty would be 3.
I'm going to use a story point, though.
Great.
have
and
one left,
the
right?
setback for the defense will be 1.
Okay.
I would also say, actually, if you would take the time to aim, and you're not moving, so that would give you the time to aim, you will automatically be able to add 2 advantage dice to the roll, and I will actually take the melee defense to 0, because if you can aim for the
Sorry,
gaping...
2 automatic advantages?
No,
or
just
what?
2 whatever the boost dice. 2
boost?
boosts, sorry.
2 boost.
2 boost. I will remove the setback because there's a gaping hole in the chest of this warrior, and if you were aiming, it'd be really weird if you decided to aim for the feet.
Yeah. That makes totally sense. Yeah, because I can just do that with my maneuver, can't I?
Correct.
Aim. Yeah, baby. Flint would like to destroy this Space Marine and take as few chances as possible.
Great. So right now, we will be, just to update our story points, you guys will have 2 after this round, and I will have 3. I decided to spend an additional 1 because Sindrian is a lot nastier than just a random person showing up in the scene and being like, hey, what up? This is going to be a problem.
Nice.
Okay, I think I'm gonna roll.
One shot.
Oh god,
One
two
shot
advantages.
Kill. Oh.
2 advantages. All right. I am going to say what happens is you fire and Sindrian does manage to dodge aside.
Fuck
But
this guy,
Sindrian
man.
has to use so much of Sindrian's heart to allow this because of the energy that you watch Sindrian fall to one knee, having supernaturally dodged aside from this blast, which shoots towards the altar, and you all have a moment of panic until it hits the warp light around it and just reflects off. So the heart is undamaged. It does not reach the altar. But Sindrian staggers to one knee and just hatefully coughing. Karl, you will get 3 attacks on Sindrian.
Okay.
I can't believe I got 2 advantage with like all the shit that I had going for that roll. Fucking hell, man.
Flynch, you are having a lot of weird questions in your brain right now about Khorne, about other things. The fact that Slaanesh is trumping your new weird Khorne eye,
But the dice roller
you're here
isn't
for the
supposed
atheist.
to know that.
But he does. That's what you're wrong. The dice know the story better than any of us because they decide it more often than any of us.
That's true.
Karl.
I'm off like a shot. Karl, who was knocked aside, fell on his face, but once provided with the knowledge and foresight, I think you said, of Azraul, and Azraul saying to go for the chest. The weak part is the chest. Karl, not even looking at Sindrian, just rises up from the ground and says, "Yes!" And he's just running towards him, chainsaws revving, and he's got it out like a combat knife. So the sword is low in both of his hands, and he's running forward to basically just plunge it into Sindrian.
Great. Sindrian is readying his claws, but you can see that he's not functioning very well. From what you're looking at, this is the equivalent of the world's best martial artist trying to fight you while having a heart attack. So it's not where they want to be, and they're very dangerous, but they're having a terrible fucking day that is limiting the skill set. Okay. So you are going to be rolling 3 attacks because you're coming in with the power and distraction of your friends.
Okay.
The difficulty on this will be 3. As it was before. The setback and the melee defense will be 1. You can't go around it. There's only so much the hole in the armor will do for you, and it's much less up close than if you were shooting at someone.
So 3 difficulty, 1 setback, and then the rest is up to me to assemble?
Correct.
Okay.
It's the power of chaos friendship.
Yeah,
I am going to upgrade 1 difficulty on each of these 3 attacks. So I'm burning my 3 story points to give you 1 red on each of these.
Okay. And I was gonna use a story point. If you're doing it in advance, can I say like I will be using a story point?
I would say
3?
right now, if you guys have 2 and I have 3, use 2 on 2 of yours. I'll use 3, and we'll just say that'll be kind of our wash. So
that's cool. And then we just swap. So you'll have 2 by the end, and I'll
correct.
And we'll have 3. Okay, cool. So I will roll these dice twice and then swap back in a regular one on the 3rd one. So first roll, a wash. Double failures on the upgraded die for Ryan. So that one really killed me.
God damn.
You come in low and you're ready to swipe upwards, but Sindrian saw you telegraph the blow and just crosses his lightning claws to create an electrified fence that you can't actually force your way past with the first strike. How do you redirect for the second one?
Yeah, I in pushing forward with all the might of my big, swollen, grotesque body, I faint out so that all the tension between us is released, and I create a new opening that way by trying to quickly send the sword back in.
Great.
Here we go. So, same pool I just rolled, 3 successes, 2 threat.
Great. What is the damage on this one again? I'm trying to remember.
So the incorporating my brawl plus the damage is 10.
Yep.
Plus the 3 successes, so 13.
13, and it's Pierce 2?
Pierce 2.
Great. Okie dokie. Yeah, you strike a solid blow that tears through the ceramite at the edge of the hole in the chest and stabs down, destroying one of the hearts as you withdraw.
And now swapping out a yellow for a green. I am ready to roll
if you
again.
If you could do me a favor and add 2 more setback to represent the 2 threats from last round, which is Sindrian reaching up with a lightning claw and grabbing the chainsword blade that is inside Sindrian's chest, but trying to take control of the weapon.
Okay. Yeah, okay. It's 2 successes, 2 advantage.
Fucking finally, Jesus.
Third one.
Sindrian has the blade in hand and just says, excess in all things, excess! And he's coughing blood onto your armor as he yells the word excess. And what do you say before you kill Sindrian?
When it comes to blood, for the blood god, there is no excess.
And your chainsword breaks through Sindrian's lightning claw, and then the second lightning claw that's around it, severing through Sindrian's hands and leaving the blades and his literal fingers on the floor before you carve through his torso upwards and decapitate the champion of Slaanesh, and the perfect symbolism for Khorne. And you step forwards towards the altar, ready to claim the heart that dangles in the air. But as your fingers reach towards it, the heart begins to rise up. And it rises up about 10 feet into the air, and then you just watch lightning strike it from the clouds. Only this is pink lightning, and then purple lightning strikes, and pink, and then purple again. And warp energy begins to suffuse the heart and grow up around it, spinning out a form around this heart, a body that is within it. And you can feel the screams of the 4 gods, one in delight and ecstasy, and the other in furious betrayal, the other 3 voices, all hating that they have been fooled as this happens. Azraul, you can feel the rage spinning through the warp, and you all look up and see a massive herald of Slaanesh form.
Yep.
The Daemonettes before are like, Daemonettes to a herald are like people to a space marine. The herald is large, one clawed hand, the other a beautifully sinuous human arm, swept back mane of hair from a androgynously gorgeous face. Everything with just random blades and random bone spurs sticking out, all swept back. Nude and simultaneously clothed as you blink or look away, you can see traces of armor on the body that simultaneously reveal more and protect the vital organs. And this creature looks down at the 3 of you and just says, Hetagrum has arrived. You thought you could escape me? I marked you all. I gave you my blessings. You aren't Khornes or Nurgles or Tzeentches. You've been mine all along. And both Karl and Flynch, you realize with horror what this demon is saying. Hetagrum was the body that burst forth from your blood mage. Hetagrum was the demon that betrayed you in the jail cells. Hetagrum pretended to be a Khornate demon and revealed themselves to be a demon of Slaanesh. And then deep down, in horror for both of you, but especially Karl, you remember that you accepted a blessing from the demon where it sliced into you in a sign of honor before you went to battle with your target in the prison, which means you have been pacted not just to the Archon Urlach Gower, but to Hetagrum, Herald of Slaanesh. You have been pacted not just to the Archon Urlach Gower, but to Hetagrum, Herald of Slaanesh.
Flynch is laughing at Karl.
Karl Karl is not laughing.
Hetagrum is laughing and just says, I am here to collect what I am owed, the souls that are mine when you die. And combat begins. Let's roll initiative, fam. This one will be, I think, Azraul, I would accept vigilance or cool from you. Karl, I think it has to be cool because you're too staggered by the idea that you have accidentally pledged your soul to Slaanesh at some point. Flynch, I can't even predict what you're doing in the terms of your mental state, so feel free to pick the one that you want. Alrighty, if y'all want to roll those vigilance or cools as described.
Yes, doing it.
Cool result is 3 advantage. Oh, Bell's having a good one, though.
1, 2, 3, 4. 6 successes, 1 advantage. What the fuck happened here?
Holy shit.
Jesus. 2 successes for Flynch on cool.
Karl, what was your roll again?
3 advantage.
Azraul. Everyone else may have been fooled by this display, but the winds of the warp are howling through you in outrage, which gives you the split second to react before even Hetagrum has struck.
Yep.
What do you do?
Oh, Azraul is reaching into the side of his chains and stuff and pulling out one of those abyssal grenades, and it's just hoof up into the sky at that demon, just throwing a demonic grenade that it has all of the demons' names on it, which means that if any demons want to help and say how mad they are, here is a beacon that you can be drawn to with warp energies.
Valid and nasty. Okay, that is going to be a ranged attack. I don't know if you have ranged light or ranged heavy.
Light.
That honestly is what it feels like anyway, so that checks out for me. Mm-hmm. The difficulty on this one will be, normally it would be 2, and then the grenade tries to make it easier, but you're also trying to time throwing it in the air to go off while in the air. So I'm going to say that it is difficulty 3.
Yes.
So you will get 2 setback for the range defense of Hetagrum, and I am going to add 2 more setback for just trying to catch it in the blast. But I will also say this is an abyssal grenade, so it will bypass some of the demonic defenses if it actually goes off in a way that a physical grenade would not.
Okay. Yeah, this is very much a Hail Mary, so I think I'll take a story point if we have them.
Sure. I'm going to spend one too.
Okay. So this is very much a crapshoot, but it's a split second situation, so that's what's going out there. Ooh, 1 success, 1 despair. The warp is so angry
warp,
right
baby.
now.
You throw the grenade up, and it arcs towards Hetagrum perfectly, and Hetagrum just says, "What a bold choice." And they catch it in the air in one hand, and then they just lean down and hold it out towards Karl, and the grenade goes off, hitting them and Karl in the center of the blast radius. So what is the damage on an abyssal grenade?
All right. The abyssal grenade is damage 12, but the blast damage is different. So the intended target versus the blast damage target, if that matters, or if Karl gets the full.
What is the difference?
It's 7 plus successes. So it would be 8 for the blast damage and then 13 for the normal damage.
So 21 total?
No, two separate totals. The blast people in the blast range get a different value.
Ah, so it's either 13 or 8.
Correct.
It will be 13.
Everyone gets 13.
It was shoved in my face, so yeah, that makes sense.
Does it have any pierce or any other such abilities?
It has vicious, but I don't think
Nope, that'll only affect if there's a crit.
That's it. Everything else was figured into the damage already.
Alrighty. Hetagrum comes out of the blast looking shockingly unharmed over the scale of things. A few scratches, but you can't tell whether Hetagrum gave it to themselves or whether it was an injury that was always there. Karl, how injured are you doing? How did you come out of that blast?
Yeah, what's like a warp grenade like? Is it like anything special about its what comes out of it, or am I just getting blown up?
It was originally just a frag grenade, so a traditional explosive. However, Azraul had carved a number of different symbols into it. So as it explodes, a number of low-level warp demons, acting kind of like ectoplasmic ghosts, also swirl out, just slashing ethereal claws as they tear their way back into the warp.
Okay, yeah. So just shrapnel just covering, like just peppered into his face and chest and shoulders. And then cuts from invisible sources open up on the outer part of his profile.
And your acid blood does 7 damage total?
7 to everyone in melee range, yeah.
Which is just you and the demon, which is sprayed with it and then reaches down and just runs fingers through the acid and then tastes it and says, "Oh, delectable." And then Hetagrim turns and looks at you, Flynch, and raises a clawed hand, which a mask appears in it. Just a beautiful, white, pure mask that they hold up over their face, and they just say, "Shoot the priest." And you are now engaged in a psychic battle of wills while Hetagrim is trying to give you a command from the warp.
Great. Because my willpower and presence are so high.
Don't worry, this is it versus itself. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was talking to me. It's talking.
It was talking to you, but this
it's doing
ability
a psychic check.
This ability is based on its psychic ability to affect you.
Gotcha.
And it will receive 1 fewer difficulty because you have been marked by Hetagrim. What is your willpower, though? Just so I can keep track of that.
Big old 2, baby.
All right, I'm going to add 2 setback to represent your willpower in this
nice.
overall check. All righty. Oof. Oofa doofa. You suffer 1 strain.
Okay.
And have to turn and shoot the priest. As Hetagrim overwhelms you and you feel the demon's control over your body take hold.
That's a rough gun to be shot with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it will be difficulty 1 because you are next to the priest. Setback will be, what's your melee or range defense there?
I only have
Azraul?
a 1 melee defense.
This is close enough that we will allow that. That's
right.
definitely there. Is there any way you would like to affect this, Azraul? Hetagrim said it aloud.
Okay. Yeah. I think then, man, I'm going to have to try to just push it out of the way with my staff, to just redirect the shot, basically, would be
cool.
my attempt.
Can you roll me? I would accept, because you're trying to move the weapon aside, either coordination or athletics.
Sure, I could do that. Okay.
Flynch, can you roll me a ranged light?
Yeah, so I've got my range light and I've got 1 difficulty and 1 setback.
And what would you like on my difficulty for my athletics, brawn?
Flynch, what is your agility?
4.
Difficulty 4.
Pretty agile.
All right. It's gonna be what it is. It's a straight roll for both of us right in the moment.
Exactly. And we are competing your overall successes against each other to see whether you can bat this aside or Flynch shoots you.
Yep. I got 2 threats, so probably not.
Flynch?
I got 3 successes and 3 advantages, which, by the way, also triggers a crit. So Vicious 3 is also triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to need you to roll me a D100, please, Flynch.
And then we get to add 30.
Correct. For the sake of you struggling against this demonic control, you can't affect this, but the dice will decide you really don't want to roll high.
42.
42.
So it becomes 72.
We're going in. Is this the time?
This, I mean, does
Got
it
you where you
matter?
needed to be.
Okay. The shot goes off and burns through the side of your head and your shoulder. So you are unable to use any boost die until the critical injury is healed, Azraul. That's the scattered senses that you were getting. And then Flynch, you rolled 3?
3 successes?
3 successes, which we said were worth 3. So that's 9, plus your base damage of what?
13.
13. So we're at 21. Azraul, you're at full health.
Yep.
Oh, did
So
you
what is
take?
that?
Oh, did you take away something? 13 plus 9.
Oh, 22. There you go. See, corrected the math, which makes it
Perfect.
worse.
And I
Azraul.
have
Sorry.
8 soak.
Yep. So that becomes 14.
So I have 2 left then,
Wow.
unless something else happens.
Did it have Pierce, Laura? I think we said it had Pierce,
No, but it does have Reach too, and I think Reach is just
So that's it.
which we made into
passive.
Pierce. I am going to say, Azraul, because your senses were scattered, and it feels weird that something that's like, I'm going to scatter your senses also kills you. You are on the precipice of death. Any injury will kill you, but due to the winds of the warp that are surrounding you, you are hanging on. A stiff breeze will kill you at this point. But you are not dead. You can feel the outrage of the gods fueling you
Yep.
in this last effort to achieve their ultimate goal.
Yeah, I think looks-wise, since you said it's a head injury, I think it's that at least a quarter of his entire skull was sheared off, and it's just that one red corn eye in a big hole that's just swirling around, and it almost looks like melty, like there's wind that's sort of shuffling his image around, but he's just a piece of head at this point.
You're
Oh,
seeing
man.
brain. Like a lot of Azraul's brain is exposed.
I have made several attack rolls this session. This is the first time I've rolled a success on an attack roll.
Correct.
What
You're
a
a hell of a
bummer.
betrayer. Flynch, your control returns to yourself in a moment of absolute horror. What do? You've just shot Azraul in the head.
I'd like to turn my weapon on Buddy.
Hatagram?
Hatagram. I'd like to turn my
You did
weapon
just
on.
turn your weapon on Buddy, actually.
That is true.
That's true. I want to turn, yes, my weapon on Hatagram.
Done and done. Would you charge forwards? What are you feeling right now? You've just lost control of your body and shot an ally in the head.
It fucking sucks. All of this is confusing. Flynch doesn't know what's to become of her. She's pretty sure everyone's gonna die now. Like, who else is she accidentally sworn, to? Who else is gonna come for her? It's almost funny, except that she just shot Azraul. So she would just like all this to end so she can just have a fucking minute.
Great.
So
do you
it's-
fire from where you're standing? Do you run forwards and try to point blank this? What is your strategy?
Yeah, she would rush attack him at this point. 'Cause Azraul hasn't done anything wrong to her, yeah. So just like as Flynch rushes forward and shoots.
The least cornate battle cry from someone with the horns and one eye of Khorne ever heard. And you dash forwards and open fire. So let's go with the ranged light. The difficulty will be 2.
That's nice.
It would normally be 1, but you get a little bit of a demonic upgrade there. The defense will also be 2, so you have 2 setback.
Less nice.
You currently have 3 story points.
Yeah, I'll use one. Okay. Man, that's all I can do. Anything I could add to anything is all to do with tech use, and there's nothing techy about this moment.
Are you willing to risk your mechadendrite to grab Hetagrum with it
Yeah.
and then shoot. Great. Then add the bonus for your mechadendrite that you would normally add to a tech use check. But if shit goes bad, your mechadendrite's in danger.
Shit. Cool.
Yeah.
So while going, you are effectively using every part of your body as a killing machine. You truly are a member of the Blood Pact Death Brigades.
All right, let's do this. I was 1 success, 2 advantages. This is pathetic.
Yeah.
It still triggers a crit because my crit is 1, so fuck it.
Great. Let's roll that crit. Roll that crit.
Roll that crit. Success is
So-
success, man.
So that triggers vicious, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ho, 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 yeah.
Oh, right, of course. That's why we're doing the roll. Silly me. Come on. There's my D10s. 84.
Oof.
Ooh.
You reach up and fire into Hetagram's torso. And you can see Hetagram is confident that this weapon will not be able to harm their unholy frame. And then you see them look at you in horror, and you realize that the hand where you were marked when you joined Hetagram is leaking pink sopophoric musk, but also the red blood and light of Khorne. And you see that cut through Hetagram's defenses, and you carve a massive hole through Hetagram's torso as Hetagram screeches. And you realize that by marking you, Hetagram made you part of themselves. So you can bypass those defenses. They will die at the end of the next round of combat, unless this injury is healed. So they have to kill all of you, or they will die no matter what. You are now watching Hetagram gear up to try to take as many of you with them as they can. Karl, 'tis your turn, my friend.
This creature, Hetagram, appeared around the heart and was floating in front of us. It reached down with this grenade and set it off in my right in front of me. Can I get into melee range
Oh, hell yeah.
with them? Yeah. Okay. Then Karl, with Hetagram kind of engaged with Flynch grabbing with the mechadendrite and firing the what is it a hell pistol? Is that what that is?
Inferno pistol.
Inferno pistol. Karl's going to come from the other side, and I think seeing the hole in Hetagram's back open up, Karl is going to, with his open hand, his free hand, try to reach inside and grab for the heart, while trying with his chainsword hand to cut off Hetagram's head.
All righty.
Hell yeah.
I think the heart rip is of more immediate danger to Hetagram, so we'll make that our battle of wills.
Okay.
That would be a brawn athletics,
Okay.
because you are arm wrestling a demon to try to pull its heart out.
Yeah.
Your difficulty on this will be 4,
Okay.
of which 2 will be red.
I have taken damage, and so I ignore any defenses for melee. but
Okay,
2 of
there will
them
be
are red.
no setback dice on this then.
Okay.
Setback is 0. Difficulty will still be, what did I say?
2 purple, 2 red is the final
Yep.
from the
Yep.
sound of that. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to spend a story point because Karl wants that heart. Karl doesn't give a shit about Throck, but Karl wants that heart.
Delightful.
And to take it from a herald of Slaanesh, to take it back, yeah, that feels right. Okay. Rolling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes,
Oh, thank God.
followed by 3 threat.
You reach in, and Hetagram is shrieking, trying to push your arm back, but you can feel simultaneously your blend with Hetagram allowing you to cross through the metaphysical barriers and the rage of Khorne against Slaanesh just fueling your strength. and you close your hands around Hetagram's heart. And what do you say as you rip it out?
I saw it first.
And it rips free in a spray of purple light and smoke and blood. And Hetagram disappears, but the heart slips out of your hand, Karl, and it falls right between you and Flynch, where it floats in the air. Flynch, you have your Inferno pistol already in hand. Karl, you are staring at Flynch, and the heart floats in the air between you. Azraul, you're watching this from a distance. You can affect this. The how is up to you, and you feel like this may be why the gods have let you live this long. Let's roll for initiative in this new round of combat.
All right.
Flynch, vigilance. Karl, cool. Azraul, dealer's choice.
Very good.
2 success, 1 advantage.
Karl's got 1 success, 2 advantage.
3 successes, 1 advantage, 1 triumph.
We have both been put in our place.
Azraul, you see this moment crystallize, and you realize the warp is slowing time to allow you to act. But with your injuries, it is taking all of the warp's energy to keep you alive. The gods aren't able to tell you what to do. But this is your chance to act. You see these two facing each other, facing off against each other with this heart between them. What do you do?
Azraul's feels like this is between the two of them. This has been their own holy war that they've been going through. But I think Azraul would reach out with the warp energies and basically start to do a spell and put it into one of the items that he has on his person and use all the last of that bit, because his prophecy, he told them that they would go home, and now he knows the location. So I think he wants to use the last of it to make like a piece of skull that they could use to do that, so that the spell would be in the item.
Azraul, can you roll me a psychic test?
Yeah.
Your usual difficulty, 2 dice
Yep.
total, 1 of them red.
Yep. Okay.
No setback. I would give you a boost, but you can't have it due to your massive brain injury.
I rolled it. It's got 3 threat and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
6 successes. Azraul, through trying to pass along the message into the skull that you were holding, your brain is slipping. You can't quite keep track of the words of the spell. And instead of just passing the information into it, you feel your soul ripped out of your own body and jammed into the skull, which flies towards the combat and sits in the middle. You will have to watch to see how this plays out, unable to affect it.
Yep.
But you will be able to advise the winner. Because Azraul, you've now become a talking skull artifact that can be brought around to educate people around you.
Amazing. Yes.
Flynch, you're standing opposite Karl. The heart is floating in front of you. Your pistol is up. You get the first chance to react. You know the heart can heal Throck, and Throck will undoubtedly have to cave to whatever you want to ask Throck to do. So if you're looking to manipulate Throck, it is a great tool for that. You also have eaten a heart recently that gave you a tremendous amount of power. This heart is in front of you. Azraul just keeled over and died, and a skull fell on the ground. So there's the possibility that you could take that power for yourself. You've also said that your one burning wish is to kill Karl for having betrayed your escape plan. That's also in the mix. What do you do?
Flynch slightly, just ever so slightly lowers her weapon it's in like a ready position, but not pointed at anything in particular. It's pointed a little bit down, but still generally in Karl's direction. Do you remember the 3 goals we had?
Is that directed at Karl?
Karl,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
directed
just
at
the two of
Karl.
you right now.
Okay, Karl grabs the heart.
Flynch, what do? You were in the ready position.
Yep.
Well,
But if you're pausing
Flynch
to talk,
was
Karl is
Flynch
not
was
talking
about
right
to
now.
have a really nice moment with Karl, but Karl fucked that up like he usually does. So there was a reason that Flynch was ready. So Flynch shoots Karl.
And Karl, what are you trying to do?
I think he firmly believes he's made it. Like, this is it. This is success. There's no other threat. So I think with both hands on this big heart, he's put around it and he's trying to just not eat this one. It feels too like, it feels like there's more to it. Like it's more metaphysical than that. So he's just trying to will it into his chest. He's just trying to push it into his own chest cavity.
All right, Flynch, take a shot.
Yeah, like this. As always, there's a way out, and this guy just can't see it. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty will be 1.
All right. Anything else I'm adding?
What is your ranged defense, Karl? I don't know if you have much.
It's 1.
Okay, one setback.
Okay.
And I will spend a story point as Game Master for both of you. So, Flynch, upgrade one of your die, and then upgrade one of the danger die.
Okay.
Difficulty die.
Okay. I'm rolling.
Laura and Flynch are both mad.
What the fuck, man? 2 successes, 3 advantages, 1 triumph, and 1 despair.
Ooh, spicy. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay.
The dice know this story.
Of course, you had to upgrade that fucking die.
Yep, I did, and I'm glad I did. Flynch, can you roll me a D100?
Yeah, because...
With my corrupted flesh, critical injuries stay mild or mid or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a 92.
Oh, what is happening?
God damn.
Which means it's 122.
Yeah, but it's a mild 122. It's a balmy 122.
So, Karl is staggered backwards. This won't have any effect on your dice, Karl, because your body heals around this tremendous wound that you were taking in terms of the crit and keeping yourself functioning. But you do take, oh god, what's the base damage again, Laura? Like 14?
13.
Oh, that's
13
right. This might
plus
just
how many
wipe
successes?
out my threshold.
I have 2 successes. Plus the success from the triumph.
13 plus 6 plus another 6 is 25. Karl, you're at full health because you ate the corn heart.
I took 6 from the grenade.
6 from the grenade. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the amount of damage that comes towards you, Karl.
Mm-hmm.
But you are still alive because the heart takes half.
Okay.
And half of the demon heart is melted away in a spray of plasma as the Inferno pistol fires. But Karl, you are still alive. You are down to 4 wounds. You have 4 wounds left from your threshold.
Okay.
Flynch, you've almost killed Karl, but his body is already starting to knit itself back together, and you've melted half the heart. But what do you both try to do now?
Both of us? Oh, well, that gun's got to go. So why not the hand with it? Chainsaw revs, and
Great.
That's what Karl's.
So the chainsword is coming for your gun hand, but Flynch, what are you trying to do?
I mean, Flynch would immediately be trying to shoot again. Like, it would just be like, this is a last stand. Like,
Beautiful.
Boom,
I
boom.
need melee light from Karl. What is your ranged light skill again, my friend Flynch? What's your dice pool for that?
2 green, 2 yellow.
Great. 2 purple, 2 red are the difficulty for your attack there, my boy Karl. Flynch, you are going to do a ranged light. Karl, what is your melee light dice pool?
Melee light is 3 green, 2 yellow.
Great. 3 purple, 2 red is your difficulty.
Fuck me.
Fuck it. I'm going to spend a bunch of story points. Everybody gets to upgrade 1 die in their pool and upgrade 1 difficulty die against them.
I'm so boned. Maybe.
I only have the slightest edge here.
Flynch, I'm going to give you 2 boost because you were shooting before. And did you already roll? Okay, then I'm...
No, once per game, my tentacle can spray Chaos Ichor and Smoke of the Warp, which imposes 1 setback die on all checks made with engage ranged.
Great. So you have a setback for that there, Karl, because you just get sprayed with...
Once per game, baby.
No,
I'm
like her out of
saving
that.
this shit.
Somebody punched a hole in my body, causing me to take damage, triggering my bloodlust for this new fight between you and I, so I ignore melee detractors. What was it? I ignore melee defense.
Melee defense. Okay.
Let me
What
just
is
make
your
sure I
melee
have that.
defense? Oh, it doesn't matter. So Flynch has 0. You've got a hole in you, so that's not going to work for you,
Oh,
Karl.
so it's a different setback, so I will include that. Sorry.
Flynch, I'm going to give you 2 boost because you've already taken a shot and you were just shooting again.
Cool.
Karl, I would normally give you some setback, but you're a bloodlust boy. I'm not going to do that to you. Let's just see how this fucking plays out. This is insanity.
You
Does
gonna roll?
does my half sorry, just so I understand where the Space Marine heart situation is. Half of it destroyed by
Yes.
the gun. Have I consumed the other half, or is it still out here in open
The
space?
other half
up
is
for
still
grabs?
on the outside
Okay.
of you, yes.
Okay.
You're holding it one-handed. Azraul, you are trapped inside a skull, watching these two kill each other and destroy half the heart. You cannot speak or affect things. But how is this for you?
Azraul is, I think, just because he was in so much pain of dying and that has gone away, the implications of all of this have not quite settled in yet. Now it's straight up like religious ecstasy and mania. It's just manic cackling inside of a skull, inside of his head, just like, yes, the gods play out.
Oh man.
It's having a great time.
All righty. Well, we're all celebrating the gods' effect on this. Definitely through the dice. Let's see what the gods say happens.
Oh my god, I'm rolling. 1 success.
3 successes.
Fuck you, man.
Okay, what is your damage with this? Okay, so it's 10, I think, if I remember, plus 3
Yeah. Pierce 2.
with Pierce 2.
Yeah.
So you take 13 damage, Flynch, minus 2 of your soak. So your soak is normally 7, it drops to 5. So your
soak is
13 becomes
5.
8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. Okay.
And you now no longer have the hand that was holding the Inferno pistol.
No right hand.
What do you both do now?
Wait,
Worth
so Karl
flagging.
didn't take any damage from my
No,
hit?
because you tried to shoot him and missed. Because this was straight up, you were trying to
Oh.
shoot him and he was trying to take your gun out of the
Yeah.
equation, and he took your gun out of the equation, so it didn't get lined up. Like it fires as it gets severed
Oh, so even my success didn't matter.
because he beat you in total successes. It was just a direct comparison of like who won the roll.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Overhead, as this battle is raging, you see the tenebrous claw just soar out of the sky, being struck by lightning and crash to the ground without its landing feet open, and it scrapes in a storm of sparks towards the far end of the dais. And you already hear Throck just screaming from inside this thing. But combat goes on.
Yes.
What do you do?
Fuck, man. I wish it was just like Laura's personality down there in Flynch's body so I could just tell Karl what a fucking like dumbass he is. Like, fucked it up again. Sorry. It's not you, Tyler.
It's a little bit me.
God. No, it's not.
I'm acting. I'm the guy.
I know.
Everybody brings a little bit of themselves into their characters.
You, buddy.
No?
No
Okay.
way.
I'm glad we're checking in and we're all safe, but let's remain in this hellish moment. What do you do, Flynch?
Flynch kind of obviously is a bit staggered for a sec by losing a hand, but Flynch has also lost limbs before and replaced limbs, and it's like not as attached to body parts as perhaps an entirely organic being might be. Flynch says, Why? It happened again. You did it again. Now Throck's gonna get us. Again. And takes her power knife and just tries to stab forward.
Karl, do you have any response before undoubtedly attacking Flynch?
No. More things have compounded his resolution that he is here and facing Flynch as a divine representative of Khorne. Because this Herald of Slaanesh came down and, from his perspective, just spoke to Flynch and said, kill the priest, and Flynch complied. Just shot, and then seemingly with the light of Khorne exiting from some of her wounds, charged at I've misplaced the name. Hetagrim, thank you. So it's just more traitorous behavior. And so it's time to just close this chapter.
All right. You are both going to be attacking. There's no way to stop each other. This is clearly in suicidal fury. Nobody's thinking of preserving themselves. This is just an attempt at a straight-up murder. Your difficulties for both of you will be 2.
Mm.
Neither of you will have any setback. Your armor is in tatters. You're heavily injured. You're not really battling to defend yourselves. You're battling to end this. You'll both get melee light. You have all the story points. So I'm imagining you'll both take a story point because it'd be weird if you didn't.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to try to sell to affect your die rolls?
Acid blood for 7 damage from getting shot.
That is a reasonable point.
I forgot to kick that in when we were going through that part of the combat. I understand if I've missed my chance, but that's...
No, Flynch's soak is 7, and it would have done 7 damage. So we'll just call that that one's going to be a wash in this instance.
That's good to know that, my acid blood will never, get you.
Well, it
never
gets
get you.
Unarmored people a fair bit. It depends on what they're wearing.
Yeah. Oh, unarmored. Right. Okay. The soak value. That's right. It's impacted by armor. That's true. I don't think I have.
I'll tell you, those horrors would have had a hell of a time with you inside the library.
Flynch hates Karl so much in this moment. God, he ruins everything.
I will allow either
Karl
of you
is-
to decide to become frenzied, but you will affect the other person's die pool by doing so.
Yeah, Karl is not
What does frenzied
aloof
mean?
about this.
Frenzied means you
Either.
get an automatic success and 2 advantage, but your opponent, when attacking you, gets an automatic success.
I think Flynch is like very cold in this moment.
So no frenzy for Flynch.
No.
Not for Karl either. Again, it's that he needs to be clear-headed because he's getting that heart right after this because he's got to deal with what's left of Throck. It'll make him see Khorne, you know, this
Ugh.
atheist. But for now, got to deal with Flynch.
Alrighty. Unless you've got anything that'll affect the die pools, I think you got your die pools.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna lose again. Fuck my life.
Imagine the number of successes I normally get doing this brawn-based stuff, but on like a 2 difficulty die pool. It should be insane. I got 1 success.
And I got 2 successes and 2 advantages.
Oh, shit.
My crit is
Hot
also
damn.
triggered, by the way.
Flynch. If I'm doing my math correct, Flynch, how much health do you have left? How many health points do you have left?
I have 7 left.
All right, so I've run the math on the damage. Here's where we're at. The power knife stabs forwards. How do you kill Karl, Flynch?
It's just like a cold, smooth, straight through the gut. Kind of aimed a bit like upwards because Karl's so tall, to back like into his spine. And kind of before the light goes out in his eyes while he's still conscious, Flynch just says, "Never believed me. You never had faith in your blood pact. Not all of us. Stupid."
Karl, what's the last hateful thing you say to Flynch while you ram your chainsword through her gut?
That the test was fulfilled, that I performed my sacred duty to counter the traitor. So that's if he has the strength for words, it's one word: traitor.
And you feel the chainsword stab up and through your guts, Flynch, but you watch Karl die. And you collapse backwards with the chainsword still whirring inside your stomach, still tearing up your organs. But you are not dead yet. And you see Throck climbing out of the tenebrous claw in the distance, and Azrael's skull next to you with glowing balefire in its eyes, and you see half a demon heart that is within reach of you. What do you do?
Oh, Flynch just like kind of like wriggles the chain. Was it chain axe?
Chainsword.
Chain sword. Yeah, just kind of like gets it, like pulls it out of her as it's just like it's like catching on like viscera and shit. And just tosses it beside her and just crawls to the heart to pull it down to her to just like start feeding. Just like feeding, sucking, just like trying to get as much of it into her, like breathing it in.
And if you were anyone else, It would be a race between you trying to eat this heart as quickly as possible and Throck staggering towards you from the Tenebrous Claw. But you are Flynch of the Blood Pact, and the warp has made you better at eating flesh than anyone else. And you detach your jaw, and your extra lines of teeth all move forwards, and you just start chewing through this heart as you see hear a scream of agony coming out of Throck's suit as Throck staggers towards you. And the warp energy of the heart begins to pour through your body, and you're feeling it soar around you, and you're feeling pleasure and pain in equal measure, and it picks you up. And you realize that you are floating off the ground. You are taller than you would ever be, and your body is expanding around you. And as you look down, you see muscles forming, and then under pearly white skin with just flawless blue marbled veins, you see black shapes forming, hard sockets forming, silver allowing plugs into them. And then from around you, you look down and see Sindrian, Son of Perfection's body, as the armor plates peel away and swirl into the storm around you and then come down and lock into place, reforming a full suit of power armor around you. And you look down as the transformation is complete and you settle, your feet now touching the ground at the height you were floating at. And you can look down into the silvered palm of the lightning claw gauntlet on your hand, and you see your own reflection. And it's your face, but it is fully the body of Sindrian, the Son of Perfection. It's your face, but with Sindrian's hair, Sindrian's armor, Sindrian's strength. You have become a Chaos Space Marine champion of Slaanesh, and you are staring at a mewling atheist in front of you that is begging for the heart out of your very body and firing up his crackling claws to take it. What do you do?
Just slowly bend down and pick up. Did my Inferno pistol get destroyed?
Nope, it was just your hand was severed,
just my
so you still
hand.
have the pistol.
So it's just with my arm again. Yay! Just slowly bend down, and it's just like a very fluid motion in like one. It comes up slowly, just perfectly into position. And it fires. She's not even gonna say anything. It's fuck this guy.
And you burn Throck down. Just from the top of his helmed head, you carve his body in half. And he falls into two pieces as you stand in a stronger body than you'd ever had before, but still with the same craven spirit that had cursed you along. However, something is different now. You're strong where you were weak. You're powerful where you were cowardly. You're a monster where you used to be prey. And you reach down and you pick up the glowing skull fueled by Azraul. And you haul forwards and you claim Throck's body. You claim Karl's body. You claim your own arm. And you claim the Tenebrous Claw. You are creating your own strength within the warp. And you have such Epicurean delights to taste. Because who can eat their captor? Who can eat their betrayer? And who can eat the very flesh that failed them to bring them forth into something new? What name do you choose for yourself, and what name do you choose for your ship as you fly into the warp and the eye as your own champion?
I need a minute.
Sorry. Pitching ideas in my head that are not helpful.
I was reliving Laura's little dance of
Yeah,
victory.
that was
That was
fantastic.
very good. So
Folks, be sure to check out the YouTube video on this one.
I may need some input on the name.
Well, you do have
Of
Azraul
me.
flying around with you. So Azraul is very available to help you with all of these things, because after you get aboard the ship, Azraul has regained the ability to speak out of the flaming skull that you can now carry around.
As Azraul, because still got the same voice.
Love that.
Azraul. Flynch won't work anymore. The name.
Ah, yes.
The name, it's too small.
You need a bigger name. One that speaks of your chaotic success. One that you can wear while going home, while you are the champion of your people and your god. What colors speak to you? What do you see when you peer into the warp with your newfound strength and eyes?
I see black and bright red, but now it's purple. But orange too. But pink.
Seems like there is
But dark, but bright.
a spectrum on the rise for you.
Azraul, you realize what this signifies.
We've done it.
Because the new Sindrian is not seeing the Emperor's children. The new Sindrian is seeing the colors of Slaanesh, but is also seeing the colors of the Black Legion. The colors of Abaddon's new force that ties Chaos Space Marines together and is leading a new war against the Imperium. It is time for the new Sindrian to abandon the Third Legion, the Emperor's children, and join the Black Legion. From shame and shadow recast, in black and gold reborn. Meanwhile, in the consanguinary worlds, a great ritual is taking place. The Archon Etogaur is creating new weapons, tearing low-level demons and souls from the warp and building them into hell-forged monsters that can protect his highest-ranking ministers and general nightmare people just top to bottom. And in every case, a demon has been summoned from the warp and put into a new body that has been stretched and shaped and made magnificent and terrible at the same time. All of them bursting forth, unable to talk, murderously attentive and having to be bound by runes. Except for the 30th, the final one, the closing of the entire ceremony. This creature steps off the slab fully in control of itself. And instead of slaughtering the sacrificial members of the crowd before it, it simply peels the flesh off the face of the first person it sees and fashions a grotesque. Karl, what do you say to Etogaur now that you're home?
You got it right there. Just,
I'm home.
Flynch, what name are you known as by the time you reach Abaddon's Horde and repaint your armor joining the Black Legion?
Maw. M-A-W.
Two sides of the same evil. Two opposite sides of the same coin. And two people in the same long war, but perhaps destined to face each other again. You both arise as champions of your cause. And that's the end of Blood Pact Requiem.
This episode of the one-shot Blood Pact Requiem features Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at Hamstring on Twitter, Del Borovic at Deltastic on Twitter, and our Game Master Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the one-shot's logo was created by Decapitated Markers. This show's theme music is Gothic Trip with Thunderhorse by Damiano Baldoni, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, Jahzzar, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com, our Twitter and Instagram at dumdumdice, and our Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice. And most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Spot Allen, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Norma Byers, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Melissa Rain, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.